Actually, who misses me? Good morning, everybody. Good morning to you. I would love to get on my camera, look all dapper, looking good for the people. Yeah. But I've been in here working on my project all day. Plus, it was my wife's birthday, and I'm going to take her to the bar and get her drunk. I'd love to sit here and do a video on Shaka Zulu, how he's hitting everybody, all the little pygmies, with his shield and then running them through with his spear so he could take their land, or any of the other things that go on. But even if I were to say something that was hyper-sensationalized like that, or about how all the poor little indigenous people of Mexico allowed the Spaniards to come in and help them conquer the Aztecs because they were tired of being the main ingredient in Mexican pozole stew, which is true. You can go look it up. It's all small potatoes. I got all this stuff right here. I got podcasts just this morning repeating everything on Seth Harp's book about the Fort Bragg cartel. Did you know that in that entire book there's no confirmed, not a single confirmed? And you know, Seth can hit me with a defamation lawsuit if I'm making any of this up. No confirmed legal findings, but you got other YouTube podcasters just this morning, I got it right there, quoting him out of his book like there was actually some type of legal conviction. Harp's book does not cite any formal court convictions that prove Fort Bragg personnel were part of a cartel-level narcotics trafficking organization. And you know, so now I gotta go read the entire book. I'm talking with somebody over at... I've been doing these videos for a year, man. I've met a lot of good people. Good people. I talked about it on my other video. You know, I wouldn't leave my daughter with any of you guys almost before I'd leave them with any member of the government, including Pam Bondi, who's in charge of the justice system in this department, or the justice department in this country. You know, how crazy is that? That this chick's sitting there with a cross necklace on representing Christianity, but then has the nerve to bring up the Dow market, presumably to sway people, retirees that are also voters that have a lot of money tied up in pensions and stuff like that, that are affected heavily by this stock market, to get them to kind of look the other way. Look, man, since when did morality become negotiable in this country? I don't have to look good. My coding and stuff like that does not have to be perfect. It's not. There are a lot of people out there that are a lot better than I am at this. Especially people that work for the government that I'm talking shit about right now. They're way better at coding than I am. They got all their teeth. They got a $400 suit on with a $75 tie. They look great, man. This t-shirt, I'm pretty sure this one's got a rip in it. It sure does. Right there, look, your boy's got a rip in his t-shirt. I'm not perfect and I'm not polished, but I don't have to be. I have to treat my wife good. I got to work hard. I got to do the best I can with what God gave me, which is sometimes kind of autistic, but moderately bright. I'm not the sharpest guy in the world, but I'm not stupid. I'm smart enough to put together a reasonable consensus on what's going on. I'm doing it right now. Claim ID plus as ID, left claim text 120, add label, MySQL. There's YouTube videos on how to do it. It's not a complicated thing. Got all your little books right here. Here's another one on open source intelligent deep dive. I just got this from Barnes & Noble. 45 bucks, 50% off. Excel Insights so you can use your VLOOKUP and all that other crap. I usually got about a B plus, A minus average in school, but I screwed off in school a lot too. That doesn't mean a lot. It's just what God gave me. I'm a suitcase, and God gave all the stuff that came in this suitcase, and that's it. So there's no ego, there's no arrogance, there's none of that bullshit. I have not the power to change even the color of one hair on my head, and neither do you. But we do have collective common sense. Like, hey, you don't touch fucking kids, man. I do, however, if Epstein was alive right now and I knew it, that's real shit too, I would. I was just talking to someone on these YouTube channels that I've become kind of close with, you know, and we message back and forth a lot. You know, he's a Latino cat. And I know his brother too, and they're good people, man. Fucking good people, just like you. You know, I have no doubt. Went to the Harley shop because I've been having a problem with my ignition on my bike, my chopper down in my basement. I've been dealing with that because there's a lot of moisture here. I go over there and they're good people too. The guy's name was Dave. And I was talking to him while my wife was in the truck. You know, I'm going to buy an ignition and put it back together because I got fuel. I got no spark. I got compression. If you have those three things, your engine should run. So it's an ignition issue because I checked all the other components. I met the guy. He's a good guy. I'm watching these people put all these podcasts out, and I'm trying to figure out right from wrong and all this. The Franklin scandal involving Johnny Gosch. And when Johnny Gosch disappeared in Iowa, for those of you that don't know, I was actually a boy still in Iowa at that point in time. You can look it up. Told you when I got back to LA, I was like 13, 14 years old. Johnny Gosch went missing in about 1980. And I remember the disappearance, man, and it was on all the milk cartons and stuff. And you got this guy that was on Camp Gagnon today that's been looking into all this stuff. They've known about this bullshit since like 2007 or something. Pam Bondi is sitting there trying to blame Biden and all this other thing. They're all fucking dirty, man. You know, being white or black or Latino or Oriental or Hindu or anything else has got zero to do with whether or not you choose to be a good person. And the entire reason why I wound up in Mexico or why I wound up in Russia was watching a guy, a human being, just like you or me or anybody else, have their head removed by somebody else viscerally on camera. And I made up my mind I wasn't going to let somebody else tell me what to do, much less a government that right there is sitting there selling out children's bodies in favor of the Dow market. Now, I'm going to be straight up. I voted for Joe Jorgensen, and I had to look twice at myself because I'm a full-grown man. I don't want some woman sitting there leading me, telling me what to do. I don't care who makes what of that. I'm all man. You know, when you're a little boy, the saddest day of your life is when you come to the realization that you are a man and you're no longer part of the protected class. If you, as a man, are found sitting under a bridge, nobody gives a fuck about you, dude. Which is okay. That's part of the price of admission. But you know what something else part of the price of admission of being a man is? I'm going to tell you what it is. It's the realization that when push comes to shove, it's your fucking responsibility to do the right thing, man. I put my face out there talking about cartel shit because I got a bunch of people that are online squawking right and left about all this bullshit about whether something did happen, didn't happen, or whatever. Never proving a fucking thing. Just like Seth here and Seth Hart legally was something that you can track. And if I made a mistake, I will immediately own it. All you got to do is get in touch with me. I'm right here every day. When you're a man, it is your job, your duty to protect children. When you're a man, it's your responsibility to make sure children's bodies are intact, that their psyche is intact, that it hasn't been destroyed by somebody that wants to abuse them in any way. Men or women. Let's remember, Ghislaine Maxwell's in prison for sexual trafficking, but to who? There's another guy on one of the other videos that's talking about, you know who's not in the Epstein files? Working class people. And as men, it is our responsibility to make sure that those kids don't get any drugs. It's children. If they want to consume something as an adult, that's their business. But as children, they're supposed to be protected. The Bible talks about that. It is better to have a millstone hung around your neck in the depths of the sea than to cause one of his children to stray from him. It talks about that. I'm not going to get long-winded about all this, but when there are children being sexually abused by anyone, I don't fucking care who it is. It is each and every one of our responsibilities as men to make sure that that doesn't happen. And if there are people that enable it, they are just as guilty as the people that are doing it because they're complicit. Even in a legal court of law, per federal law or state law, anywhere, any country, you can go look that up. So, hey, I don't look all handsome today. I haven't shaved. I don't give a shit. I've been working on my little database up here. You know, but looking at all of this, it's small potatoes compared to everything else that's going on. I really don't even know if there's a way out of this. I don't know what the answer is. I do know that the answer is not allowing children to be abused, though. I'm fucking dead sure of that.